This violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello. Welcome back once again to Blame Your Brother, episode 124. We are back once again to bring you a great, amazing show, third best show in Nashville, as voted by the readers of the Nashville scene. It is Blame Your Brother, the lamest, dumbest dudes on the internet, according to YouTube users, and we are here to provide entertainment for you. We are Blame Your Brother. I am one third of that trio. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, Nick Nickham, the spiritual midget, the disappointed one. And that's John.
It's me.
So you're AK. And I'm joined by this guy who sits to the left of me. It's my brother.
What up, everyone? It's the man who needs a new name. It's the man who needs to steal a name from John. It's the one, the only, LeBron Safety Pin.
And I'm joined by this guy who sits to the right of me. It's the internet's favorite advice man. It's John.
John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, the voice of the people. You like that, huh?
That's good.
Mr. PTI, the madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, so that's three of us, David Lee and John. We will be bringing a show to you tonight, and come hang out with us every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Go to blameyourbrother.tv. You can join us as we stream this show live on Facebook and Periscope, and maybe next week, we'll see. We might be unbanned from YouTube. We'll find out. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to get going. So like we do every week, we start the show off in the same manner. We need to make room for us to apologize, take things back that we said, anybody we might have offended. So we'll start, Lee. Was there anything you said on last week's episode you need to apologize for?
Yeah, I have to apologize to John for bringing up the Imagine Dragons once again. I mean, we realize it's not going to happen, you know. But I keep bringing it up.
He said there's
rubbing salt in the wound.
He said there's a 13% chance, so we'll see.
Once he said 13% chance, I knew that was a lie. If he said there was not a chance, that would have probably been better chance than 13.
All right.
See, I understand how John's brain operates here, okay?
Please do tell more. How does it operate?
Enlighten us.
So if he says it's not going to happen, there's a good chance that it could.
Right.
But if he lowballs you, especially with a number like 13, which is an extremely unlucky number, by the way. He's a very superstitious person. He's admitted to reading runes before.
It's true.
Falling in with cults, stuff like that. So I would say that's just the way it is. We can scratch that.
He was in a perfume cult, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, that's
Maybe we'll
weird.
hear that story at some point.
He's told it before. He could probably tell it again. But anyway, John, so he apologized for you. Do you want to apologize for him as we start maybe a new thing in 2019? Anything Lee said you need to apologize for on last week's episode? Or anything you said?
Most of the time when Lee starts talking, I kind of shut things off.
There you go.
I don't even remember what he said.
All right. Well, I don't really remember anything. I think it was a pretty clean show on our end. So we will get moving forward. We get the show going. So I guess, what's going on with both of you, Lee? How was your past week?
It was pretty good. I spent way too much time thinking about belts and belt loops. Like, does the belt hold the belt loops up? Does the belt loops hold the belt up? I was really confused. I still don't really know where I think it's like a symbiotic relationship. But then I started thinking about like chicken before the egg, like which came first, the belt or the belt loop. And then I thought it was probably like an organic evolution. And it was like, like I started thinking about like old timey clothing, with the people that wore the pants up high. Was it because they didn't have belts?
Did you have any herbal aid before
nothing.
This thought process happened?
I was going to say, did you, to pull a Chris Farley, did you go into the bathroom? Did a roach bomb go off? Or were you stuck in there for a few hours to collect your thoughts?
It might have been the combination of the Sudafed, the Tylenol, the Mucinex, the orange juice. Have you ever OD'd on orange juice?
No.
Well, I got about as close as you can get. That's what I'm trying to tell you here. Just
so you've been sick.
Play it safe out there.
You've been sick.
Play it safe out there.
Yes. Sick
forever.
Under the weather.
Since my life begun.
All right. So there you go. That's it. That's your whole week. Belt loops, belts,
belt loops, and roach bombs, baby.
Thoughts in the sky. All right. John, what about you, man? Anything happening?
I've been under the weather this week as well.
Oh, two sick boys here.
No thoughts about belt loops, really?
No. No.
Just watching a lot of Big Bang Theory in bed?
No. Still working.
Oh, okay.
No
Best
days
of both
off.
worlds.
No days off. It's a grind. He's grinding out there. No days off.
The Iron Man.
So I did do this though. I will say I remember New Year's Eve
Yeah, we remember.
solo karaoke party. Someone said that I like channeled Kesha, which I don't necessarily understand that reference. Maybe someone could help me with that one.
TikTok? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
TikTok.
But I reviewed some of that footage, and that's pretty scary. I hope that stuff never makes it to the light of day.
You talking about film of you?
Yeah, I filmed the entire solo karaoke party, and I was going
I didn't
back.
know that.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
What else are you gonna do?
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you don't want anyone to see it, that's not a wise action.
I mean, have you never like filmed yourself doing something? You're like, oh God, what is wrong with me? No, that's just me. Have you ever?
Well, I mean, I was part of this podcast one time where we recorded every.
Have you ever like recorded your voice and listened back and was like, man,
Yes.
That sounds great. Yeah, I think about it all the time. Yeah.
that's just us then. That's just us, David. Sorry.
I hate the sound of my recorded voice.
Do you love the sound of your non-recorded voice?
I'm okay with it.
Did you go back and listen to your solo you did last week?
No, I didn't.
You remember doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe we should start there. That's what I'm saying.
Over under, John, have you ever listened to 5 episodes of the podcast?
I've listened to more than 5.
Really?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. Okay.
Obviously, you're putting him at 5, right?
I thought maybe 4. I know he listened to a few and one when he wasn't here, so I don't know. Anyway, while you guys were sick in bed, crying and thinking about
Well, you
crazy
had a
things.
big
No, I was still going to work.
I still crying about it. I went out. I'm a man of the people. If you didn't
I've
know this. I like the finer things in life: the wine, the cheese, the art. Sophisticated
Rock.
things. The Kid Rock.
the big ass restaurants.
It's funny you speak of Kid Rock's restaurant. We'll definitely get into that in just a second. So I'm traveling the world. I like to be
You
rounded
traveled the world.
of Nashville. I
Okay.
like to be a rounded person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want people to know I'm sophisticated. So Saturday I went to an
So you lied to them.
Yes. Saturday I went to an art crawl at the
Oh,
arcade.
they're okay.
I mean, see,
been
John,
over
he's
this
already more sophisticated in a couple of hours than you've been in your entire life, and you're trying to throw the man under the bus.
I've been to the art crawl at the arcade, so we're technically tied.
What's
Okay.
the over
See if you
under?
can keep up. We'll see
What's
if-
the over under? John has actually been to the art crawl at the arcade.
Well, probably 13%.
Okay, exactly.
But that was cool. A bunch of art, bunch of free wine at different stations. Saw the mayor was there hanging out. I don't know what he was doing there. Ran into a guy I went to school with.
John Huh?
No, not John High. It's
Joey Bostic.
Josh Newman.
Ah.
And I was looking at him, and he was showing us his art. It was like 3D art. So he had this art on the wall. This is a painting. And he put these 3D glasses on. It's like 3D. It was like really cool. So I was like, oh, how'd you do that? And I start looking at him. I go, did you go to Hillsborough High School class of like 95 maybe? He goes, yeah, I did. I know you. We went to school together. I was like, oh, and so Josh Newman. How I remember somebody that I didn't really even know from back then is it's always astounding to me.
Are y'all gonna go yard selling in the spring
I
or
don't,
anything?
I think we're done. I think that was our
Okay.
interaction. Hey, how you doing? Good.
That's a shame.
Do what you do, son. So I went to the art car, had a good time, did that, and then
Favorite piece?
favorite piece. There was a guy doing these really great paintings of like celebrities and things like that. I mean, it's hard to explain, but
Were you too sophisticated to grab the guy's name?
I definitely have his card. It's out of my car.
No,
But
well, it's handy.
Yeah, it was really good. Everything was good. It's fun to go just check out art and walk around. And then, as you allude to, I went from an art crawl, and on Monday, I went and ate at Kid Rock's big ass honky tonk bar and grill.
So they approved the sign?
It's not up yet,
Yeah,
but it has
still.
been approved. And so we went
Was
there.
that like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of situation?
Yeah, for real. I'm gonna say the bar itself looks pretty cool. There was a band playing in the middle of the day. We went during lunch, and they're all as a cover band.
What songs they do?
Oh, they
Just
did
a lot of Kid Rock?
No, you would think, but
Was
no,
there like a little person running around?
no Kid Rock.
No.
They did not do one Kid Rock. They Shania Twain, Trisha Wood. It was a female. They did a Summer '69, ZZ Top things.
No photograph?
No photograph.
Could have worked that one in.
No photograph. I thought they were going to because it was a guy and a girl, and I was like, come on. And
I know. Maybe you showed up late.
oh well. Anyway, so I did that. So it was all right. Most of those
What
places.
was the menu?
Burgers, bar food. They have a steak for like $79 there.
Was it all expensive?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Not
No,
that
I don't
expensive.
know. I've never been.
No, not that expensive. The burger was like $10, $11.
Well,
Standard.
So, what do you think Kid Rock's like? He's sitting around. He's like, I gotta open a restaurant on Broadway.
Well,
what's his take? Like,
do you know why? Because there's like all these country music people all have bars like on Broadway. So he's right literally in the middle of all of it.
so do you think it's like a lucrative money? Because I imagine Kid Rock is not necessarily hurting for money. That's just my guess. But he might have a lot of expenses too.
I think with everything that happened with Kid Rock in Nashville and it being polarizing, you know, the mayor didn't want him in the parade and now they didn't want his sign up. I think there's going to be a lot of people coming in there and showing him support. That's what I think personally. I think the people in Nashville or the tourists are going to
Just getting that $79 steak.
yeah,
huh?
you know, to support their guy. And they have this awesome shirt. I think I'm going to get it for Lee or myself. I haven't decided yet, but it says Kid Rock for Mayor. And that's.
I think you need to get that one for yourself.
I think you might have to wear it on the show.
If you want people to wear it, you should get it for yourself.
And you will have to wear it on the show.
Why would I have to? Are we going to make a bet or
Well, I
something?
think we should vote. I think we should start voting on the show. And we can go around in 2/3 majority.
Okay,
Obviously.
first off, you have a lackey.
No.
John the lackey.
John is his own man. We all know this. He's his own guy. Yeah. So we're just
Lies.
so we're just
Lee,
doing-
like you're not. That's not the very wisest position to take.
First off, we're
just
not,
saying.
Look, I'm not going to agree to vote to wear a T-shirt on this show.
Okay,
That
so
would be,
you vote no against it. Okay, I vote that you do wear it. John, what your deciding vote?
I think Lee would look good in a
See, there you
Kid
go.
Rock
So
for Mayor
Kid Rock for
t-shirt.
Mayor T-shirt. All right. So, anyways, went and checked that out, and then last night I went to the Ryman Auditorium and saw School of Rock play. If you don't know what School of Rock is, it's a
Jack
school.
Black.
It's like a the movie is based actually on the actual thing. It's a
Yeah.
school for kids to come and learn. You know,
So it's not a movie. It's actually kids performing
right.
pieces of rock and roll that they've
Yes,
rehearsed.
right. And they'll have like different band themes. Well, this was like an all-star of that's something they were playing the Ryman.
Did you see some up and coming?
I saw some really good people where I was like, some of these people are going to make it. And I was there because my wife's best friend, her son is in it, and he is on the bass, and he's really good. They did Rush, and he was like, I don't like Rush.
Did he sing too?
Rush
or
is
just
all over the
bass?
place
No.
when it comes to the bass. So
Yeah, he just played, but he was playing some complex parts for Rush. So
Did
he did
have
really
a 5
good.
string or like the double?
He's got I think he's got a
double
5
necked?
string. I've talked to him. I think he went to a 5 string. He's got the, if you know bass, 5 string. But great song. They did Led Zeppelin, one school did. So it was different schools, like Franklin School, Nashville School, blah, 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 different levels. But the Led Zeppelin band, ooh, they were good. And this girl that sang, wow, I was blown away. I was like, this is better than like, we were in a band. And I was
What
like,
was that band you played for us? I think last week or the week before.
What
Do you
band?
remember their name?
what
That
band?
sounds just like Led Zeppelin.
Veda, what's their names? Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, so compared to them,
She's better singer.
oh really? So we might have 2 Led Zeppelin bands in
Well,
the future.
so she's in the house band. So the house band is like the best of the best. And they play at like the Predators games and things like this. So if you've been to a Predators game, you've seen the band playing, that's them. And they did a couple like funk, like average white band songs, and she was singing. And I was like, that girl's going to be something one day for sure. And the guitar players shred, dude. I mean, these kids are like 15, like just blowing it away. They played Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Another did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And then the band that came up after that was like younger kids, and they weren't that good. And they did Maroon 5 and sheesh. And I tweeted.
Want to hold
I tweeted. I was like, number one, it's Maroon 5. I mean, probably shouldn't cover them.
You tweeted at little kids, telling them they need to
I
step
tweeted-
up their rock band
I
game.
didn't tweet to them. Here's
Wow.
why kids shouldn't cover Maroon
Wow.
5. Number one, it's Maroon 5. Number two, have you listened
Wow.
to some of the lyrics in the Maroon 5 songs? Very sexual
I don't know
in
if
nature.
I've ever heard a Maroon 5
I
song.
promise to keep her coming every night. Kids sang that, no irony at all. Like, I guess he didn't know what it meant.
It means coming home.
Yeah, that's what it means. And I've tried my best to keep her satisfied, to keep her coming every night. I mean, come on, dude. Anyway, there was a bunch more. And number 3, those songs are a little bit more complex.
He's got
than
the moves.
These kids, like Jagger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so they did that Led Zeppelin, and it was really good. It was awesome. It's always fun to check out the Ryman. I mean,
So are you thinking next year you're going to try out for a rock band?
well, 18's the cutoff. So
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
You just can't be in school?
Can't be in school.
What about Nick?
It's expensive. That's the big thing. It's really expensive. So no, I think he'll just
Okay, imagine this movie.
So you have to be rich and talented.
and yeah.
Imagine this movie, you dressing up like a high school kid to try and be in School of Rock.
That's good. You should write that.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be someone a little bit younger than me, but it
No,
could be like a
It's
20-year-old.
got to be you. It's got to be you.
Well, it's kind of dumb though, but I like the idea of a 20-year-old trying to get into School of Rock, so he acts like he's in school and he's like acting like he's 16.
I feel like that's been done though. We
Yeah,
have to do a little.
it's like Never Been Kissed, but instead of a reporter.
Well, you can have fun with the School of Rock thing, but
Be
I
like
mean, that's
Jump Street 45.
Essentially, that's what School of Rock is, really. I mean, if you want the truth, though, because Jack Black is in the band and he's like a 40-year-old man.
But he's the band director, right?
I mean, he really
he's the teacher of the class.
But he starts the band where he can win Battle of the Bands as him as the lead singer.
Right.
And if you haven't seen the movie, things happen.
School of Rock 2. Right, there already was a 2, wasn't there? School of Rock 3.
No, there wasn't a 2. No.
Who cares?
Maybe there should be a 2.
Yeah, but anyway, so if you get a chance, School of Rock. So that's what I did. Ryman, Kid Rock, Art Walk. I'm all over.
Sophisticated.
Just all over.
Fancy pants.
All over the town, man. Just doing my thing.
AKA, just going to start calling you Fancy Pants.
I watched Black Klansman. If you don't know what this movie is, Spike Lee joint.
What did you think?
It was good, but I don't like Spike Lee as a director. There were some weird choices in there, but the guy that played David Duke, the guy from the 70s Show, what's his name? The main guy, Topher Grace. He did a great job, dude. As David Duke, he was really good. It was a good movie. Is it Best Picture of the Year movie? I don't think so, but I've heard it might win, so we'll see. But I mean, there's worse movies, and it's wild that it's based on a true story, but a lot of it, the basis of it is true. Like a black man called the Klan, and they believed he was a white guy and let him into the Klan, and then his undercover partner had to go in and be him while he was there. So
wait, so he like had a radio in his ear? I'm confused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had an earpiece in.
What was he trying to do, like a expose or?
Well, they were trying to uncover because they were trying to blow stuff. They were like a terrorist group almost back in the day.
So he was a cop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so in the movie they're like, "Oh, you're a pig or you're a narc, da da da." And then I read in real life they were so dumb they never questioned them at all. He said they were some of the dumbest people he's ever met before. He was like, they were so dumb.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's all that Black Klansman. I'm trying to watch more movies in the upcoming year. I saw a challenge on Twitter: 100 movies in 2019 that are new to you. They don't have to be like brand new at the theater, but
I don't feel like that's that hard to do
for
for someone that enjoys watching movies.
Yeah, I guess you got kids and everything. It's a little bit harder to do sometimes, but I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna start trying to keep a list of all the movies I've seen.
I mean, like you could knock out 4 a weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Good.
Just be done by August or something.
There we go. We'll see how it goes. I'd like to see Lee get to 10 new movies.
10 movies. That would be a challenge. That's a challenge.
There you go. It is.
13%, baby.
Before we jump into the news, we have a new podcast on the network. If you guys didn't know, our friend River, who is a credited producer of the podcast, is starting his own podcast called the Still Untitled Review Podcast. And the concept of this is that he's going to listen to indie podcasts. He's going to do an entire episode on how he ranks them, how entertaining they are, how the audio quality is, if they kept him engaged and all this. So I'm looking forward to it. This should be a fun experiment. And you can actually go get this on our website, blameyourbrother.net, and you just find his category, and we'll find ways to get you subscribed to it if you want to do all that. But I'm looking forward to that adventure. River is back into podcasting, and we are hosting that, so that's part of the Blame Your Brother network. So
sweet.
It's going to be good times, man. So and Adam Cox did a wonderful write-up review of 2018 on the website, blameyourbrother.net. Go check it out. He reviews the best movies, best TV shows, best podcast. We made the list,
We were
course.
third best in the list.
I think we're first best.
I don't know.
On that one. And
I wouldn't trust what he said then.
And so he likes Big Bang Theory. He kind of, he in tongue-in-cheek kind of takes shots at me and you for hating it or whatever, but he loves it. So, yeah. So, please go check that out. BlameYourBrother.net. Go check out the website. There's great stuff on there. So, that's that. Let's jump into the news. What is happening this week in the world?
It's all about building walls this week.
Trump's
I guess,
still
right?
president, right?
Yeah, he's still president. I'm on the under now, or the over.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to wear a Kid Rock T-shirt.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think
got to wear a MAGA hat or something.
So to talk about that real quick, because I don't have that up as a news story, but obviously there's a government shutdown because Trump said he wants funding for the wall, and the Democrats say we will give you your funding, but you get the wall somewhere, however it works. And so both sides are basically saying we're a stalemate. We're shutting the government down, and if you're in the Coast Guard, you're not getting paid. If you
What I don't understand is like these people that they're like considered irreplaceable, so they have to go to work without pay.
And it's wild, right?
Can someone explain to me how that works for just a second? That blows my mind, and I understand that they eventually do get back pay, right?
I would hope.
But I've heard it's a hassle. But like, could you imagine if your employer called you up and was like, John, we're not going to be able to get you that check this week, but we're going to need you to come in and work a double because not everybody's here.
Good luck with that.
I know, right?
So you would just quit?
If I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to work.
Well, you have to. Like, it's Coast Guard. They have to go into work. And I don't think
Coast Guard
I don't
is
think
something else completely.
I don't think you can quit either, John. And you're like you're in it.
Is the Coast Guard like the military? 'Cause
Yeah, it's a branch.
Are they paying the military?
Other parts, but not the Coast Guard's not getting paid.
Just the Coast Guard's getting the shaft.
So national park people have to show up, take care of the animals, so they're not getting paid.
Oh, they probably love that though.
That's true, but still, I mean, it's not.
They probably don't get paid much anyway.
And this it's a sad state. Yeah, probably don't. But now let's put this in perspective because everyone's like, Trump doing this, doing that, and both sides. Trump had State of the Union, and the Democrats had a response, and every news media is pretty much reporting it as terrible for both sides, which is rare that you see MSNBC and Fox actually agreeing on something. It's like, whoa, what's going on? So it's got to be true.
Well, the thing is, like, they thought that he was going to do it the other night, but now he's threatening to do it. He's going to declare a state of emergency.
Yeah, where he can fund the wall.
State of emergency.
But it's just that. But this is not the first government shutdown. The government shut down under Obama.
It did.
And under Clinton. So it's not the first time it's ever happened, but it's still.
But I don't think there was like a single sticking point in the budget.
It's just sad. It is truly sad that this is where we've come to.
I mean,
in politics.
okay, so for you personally, where do you rate needing a wall? As in terms of a national emergency, or in terms of national security, in terms of just priority list for America?
So if I went 0 to 100, it's a 0. I think
so you're no wall.
No, I think the wall is stupid. I don't understand the point of it. Regardless, like
China has a wall.
Yeah,
it's the Great Wall.
Yeah, well, he ain't gonna get no Great Wall. If that's what he's going for. He wants the greatest wall in the world. It's too late, brother. It's just. I was thinking about this the other day. Trump is so literal. Okay, he's like, man, let's build this wall. Do this. I imagine that somebody told him it's called the World Wide Web, and he thought, let's invest in spiders where you can make the internet faster. I mean, he is like that literal of an idiot at this point. Like, dude, the wall is not going to stop people from getting in. It's not.
Well, what's funny to me is like during his campaign, he was like, we're going to make Mexico pay for the wall. Now he's all like, I didn't mean like literally pay for the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not literally. And then people went back and pulled the clips and, like, he released, like, documents to his constituents that's like they were going to cut a check for $5 to $10 billion.
Oh, I remember.
His plan. Here's his plan. He was going to stop the ability for people to transfer money back to their family in Mexico. And then Mexico would come and throw themselves at Obama and say, please, Mr. Obama. I'm sorry, not Obama.
I was like,
Trump.
what? I was like,
please, Mr. Trump, please build your wall.
It's just silly.
He's a little out of touch with the reality.
And this is sad that, like I said, people aren't getting paid and people aren't being taken care of. It's pathetic at this point. Let's call it what it is. So, John, what do you think? I mean,
I agree. I think the wall's stupid. I think that
13% stupid.
I'm 100% stupid. Okay. I don't see how that's going to keep people out of the country that really want to be here. There's other ways to get here, and so I mean, it's like, dude, just beef up security. Like, you don't need to be. I don't know. It's just so dumb at this point. I'm over it.
Is it a terrorism issue or is it an immigrant issue?
It's an immigration issue. I mean, call what he can say it's a terrorist issue, but I haven't seen many terrorists from Mexico last time I checked. I mean, unless you're considering people that bring drugs into the country terrorists, I don't think they are. I
mean, I think white Americans have killed more people in acts of terrorism in this country than anyone else, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's true. So, I don't know. Is this going to end? Hopefully, I hope sometime soon it is. But he said he's willing to go a year.
That's insane. There's no way they could go a year with a shutdown government, right?
I don't know. Some parts of it that probably could.
Well, the Democrats tried to.
If they do, that kind of proves how useless our government is.
But I mean, the Democrats tried to press a bill where it's like they were going to partially fund the government, and they were like, no, Don't think so.
And the problem is with Trump is that he has put all of his eggs in this basket, and his constituents, his people on the right, are saying, if you don't get this done, you're done. Like, they're putting everything in this victory. So
you're done, son.
He really has no choice as far as if he wants to get reelected. He has to do it. He's backed himself into a corner. So he's going to have I'll believe his wall gets built when I see it. There's no way.
All right. So let's just
jump
segue into the Twitter poll.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a Twitter poll.
Mm-hmm. So today I was listening to a little Spotify, found this awesome playlist, had all these great songs on it. And this playlist had Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire," which we've talked about on the podcast. Me and John said, great song. Okay.
Greatest song.
One of the greatest songs.
Greatest song.
I didn't say greatest. I
One
said
of the
greatest
songs.
Okay, but you're saying the greatest
song.
No, that's
one of.
No. You think I'm John? Like I'm going to fall for this argument? One of the greatest.
Hey, I'm in the room.
Okay, and then
don't turn your lackey against you. We have voting rights here.
Another song I like, REM. It's the End of the World as we know it.
What's your deal with
but both of them
wannabe rap songs?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Both of them feature some fast, clever lyrics. They're really good. They got great melodies in them. So I took it to the blamers. I said,
Chickadee cheese and the Chinese chicken. Is that your next, people?
It could be. We could put that up next.
Some bare naked ladies up in there.
What's a better song? We Didn't Start the Fire. It's the End of the World as we know it. Lee, which one would you have voted for?
I did vote, and I voted for It's the End of the World.
Okay.
Obviously. Because we've already had this discussion about We Didn't Start the Fire.
John, what would you have voted for?
We Didn't Start the Fire.
Okay, so it would split.
I was back and forth all day long. I checked it.
I did. I voted.
At one point, We Didn't Start the Fire was slightly up.
I voted for REM, truthfully. I like that song a lot. I don't know. So it's one of the greatest songs, apparently.
You're just an REM fan through and through.
And people generally on this issue either hated REM or they hated Billy Joel. No one really was like, yo, I
like both of them, but I like.
Yeah, but a lot of people just hate it, either one or the other. They're either Adam Cox loves REM, so imagine he voted for REM. But a lot of people are just like, Billy Joel sucks. He's the worst dude ever, and all that. I don't get. I mean, that was Minx from the Cooter and Minx show. She don't like Billy Joel, so she voted for REM.
Said she usually doesn't like Billy Joel, so
right,
it's like a 13%.
Yeah, and then Miranda Blue on Twitter, Miranda_Blue. REM song drives me bonkers, so I'm gonna have to go with Billy Joel on this one. And then what I watched tonight, the podcast says this is almost unfair to vote on. He must have loved them both equally. So
you think so?
That's what I got.
Said that as well.
That's what I take. So there we go. So REM wins, and that, I guess,
it's not even like the best REM song.
What's the best REM song?
I don't know, but I'd probably say not that one, right?
It's one of the best ones. It's probably not the best one, but it's really, I like it. To be in that mood of wanting like uplifting kind of music. Okay, so I put on this playlist when I start walking into work because I was like, man, I don't want to be at work today. And it starts off with Come On Eileen. I'm telling you, man, that will get your day going in the right direction. What a great song.
Yeah.
In the right mood. Like if you're in kind of a down mood.
Can I guess the next one? 99 Red Balloons?
No, I don't really remember a lot of the other ones, but still. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of what spawned that. A lot of people voted on that, man. So what do you like REM?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to grow up in the era that we did and not have some inkling for REM.
Okay.
They were a rock and roll powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean, they had, John, what do you think? You like REM?
Yeah, I like REM. Yeah.
I mean, Automatic for the People, Out of Time, and Monster. That's three great, you know what I say? 3 great albums consecutively.
Oh, watch out. Rock
Hall of
and roll,
Fame.
Hall of
and
Fame.
They are in the Hall of Fame.
Already.
Yeah. So
they beat
who? Billy Joel? Radiohead?
The B-52s?
They did beat Radiohead, Aaron. Fleetwood Mac. What's her name?
Oh, yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
They beat Stevie Nicks in, really?
Yeah.
That's not cool.
You just said they're like an influential band of our era. What are you talking about?
I guess Stevie Nicks didn't have 3 albums.
Losing My Religion? Oh, they have more than 3, man. They've got
Fleetwood Mac was already in.
Yes. But does your girl have 3 good albums?
Probably not.
You couldn't name one album by her, could you? Exactly.
Landslide.
That's an album?
I don't know.
No, that's a Fleetwood Mac song. What are you talking about?
I thought Landslide was Stevie Nicks.
No, it's Fleetwood Mac.
Was it?
Yeah. All right, so REM, good band. They got Losing My Religion, really good song. They got Man on the Moon, Drive, Shiny Happy People.
Yeah, I saw them on Sesame Street the other day.
Yeah.
Doing shiny furry monsters or something.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so that was the poll of the week. So we'll try to put up another one next week and see. People usually get very spirited about these polls, man. They want to get the answers in. They want their side to win, and pop culture always does that. So,
Always.
Yeah. All right, so we got any good news stories this week? It's been kind of a slow news week, I guess, but just click on one. Let's see what happens here.
I kind of want to talk about this one.
Okay, this is a good one. Yeah, you wanna go over
ahead.
the deets?
Go ahead.
Cyntoia Brown, if you don't know who she is a woman serving life in prison here in Nashville for the murder of a man when she was a teenager, and this case received national attention when Kim Kardashian went to the White House and spoke with Trump about getting her, pardoned and released from prison, and then it kind of went to the local level, and Governor Haslam this week granted her clemency, and she's going to be released on August the 7th. And the first thing I thought is, she has to be in jail until August the 7th, dude. That's like 8 months. That's
she's
wild.
Been in prison for years at this point.
Well, I know, but
since she was like,
what is that?
16?
I mean, I agree with David. I mean, if she's either free or she isn't,
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I mean, I agree with you guys, but I'm sure she is just overexcited to be pardoned. She's like, I can August, no problem.
Right. I'm sure to go fast, but still, it's weird when I hear like cases where a guy's wrongly convicted. This ain't the first one. I've seen wrongly convicted people have to stay in jail for like 3 months after the DNA overturns the case. I'm like, what?
Well, let's talk about this case a little. I don't know if you know much about it.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
She shot a man at 16 because she was in a sex traffic.
Yeah,
she was
prostitute.
Yeah, she was basically a pimp, had abused her, so she had waited for her moment. If you could imagine putting yourself in a situation like that.
No.
And the moment finally came, and she acted on it, and it involved murder. So where's your stance on that? Because we talked about this kind of like a couple weeks ago about the rule of law and, a crime's a crime. It doesn't really matter about the circumstance. So obviously, she did murder someone in cold blood. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's arguable in cold blood, but I think that's why she was get a chance to get out. I mean, she's saying she killed the guy where she could get out of the. I guess this was a guy paying for sex with her.
No, I think it was her pimp.
No, I don't think she killed her pimp. I think this was another guy reading the story. Yeah, I think it was another guy.
Oh, that's my bad if that information's wrong.
Yeah, scroll down. I think it's in there. I was reading about it. I was like, no, I don't think she actually. I think the pimp was still alive afterwards. I think it was just a John she killed.
Wow, that's a little crazy.
But she said she was, fearful and just trying to get out of that situation. So that it really changes it for you, I guess. So
it does somewhat. I guess.
So we'll start with John, man. John, what do you think about this whole situation?
I heard the story completely different. So
what have you heard?
I heard that she was basically kept against her will for an extended period of time, and he was the one that was. And I mean like months, not just as a John.
It says in 2006. Brown was convicted of first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated robbery in the killing of Antioch realtor Johnny Allen. And I'm pretty sure that was not her pimp. Her pimp was somebody else. I forget the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure this was a guy she killed. So I don't know. Does that change things a little bit for you?
I mean, if it was just a John, yeah, a little bit.
She said she shot the 43-year-old in self-defense.
He was an Antioch realtor, Johnny Allen.
So surely that's not her pimp, right? Her pimp wasn't a realtor out of Antioch, was he? I mean, that's why
it doesn't take much to be a realtor.
That's true. I guess he could have been a pimp, but okay, Lee. So with that being changed, self-defense is what she argued.
I mean, I guess first off, the reason that he came out and gave her clemency, a large reason was because she was 16 when she did it. So he felt like also even the specifics of the crime.
Well, I got the specifics on okay. So on the night of August 5th, 2004, she was 16 years old. She met 43-year-old Johnny Mitchell Allen in the parking lot of Sonic Drive-In on Murfreesboro Road. Like I said, he was a real estate broker, United States Army veteran. Brown told investigators that he asked her if she was hungry and if she was homeless. She said yes, and then accepted Allen's offer to take her to his house. Then ordered dinner, and they drove the pair to his house. At a later hearing, Brown testified she agreed to have sex with Allen for $150, but claimed they never actually engaged in sexual intercourse. At some point during the encounter, Brown shot Allen in the back of the head using her .40 caliber handgun. She then left the house in his car with his wallet and 2 of his firearms. So
there was no sex trafficking involved here?
police later found Brown and I guess her pimp at the nearby in-town suites or wherever that's at. So that changes things a little bit.
Well, and maybe maybe she was forced to do it too. We don't know.
I mean, there's a couple of things. Number one, she was a teenager when this happened, and she was in a bad situation. And I don't know if this guy, we don't know. Was this guy actually trying to help her, or I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say,
Probably
right?
not.
But
how many homeless people have you picked up?
But I don't know, like,
and taken to your home after buying food.
Well, no, and that's not me. But
well, I mean, if she had a gun, I mean, she could have get in your car and drive.
Forensics say Allen was laying with his hands underneath his head. That gives credence to the prosecution's argument that the act was a homicide motivated by her intent to rob the man. So you got to ask, how long should people be in jail for murder when they do it at such a young age and in a bad spot, I guess, is the question. Like, she's been in since what? How long?
She's 30 right now.
So 2004. So, it's been
14 years. 15.
Yeah, going on 15 years. Is that enough time for someone to learn the lesson?
I just want to know why there's so much misinformation around the story, because me and John heard the same story here.
Where'd you hear that?
The internet, I guess.
Well, that might be. Where
did you hear your story? The internet?
I mean, I just read the news.
Well, that's what we did as well.
Yeah, well, so I don't know. But no, her pimp was definitely not the person she murdered. Huh. So,
well,
it's hard to say. I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of details in here that are questioning against Miss Brown. I mean, he was shot in the back of the head.
Well, so Haslam said part of the reason he gave her clemency and pardoned her was after careful consideration of what is a tragic and complex case. He said that imposing a life sentence on a juvenile would require her to serve at least 51 years, and that parole consideration is too harsh. So basically he said, you had a messed up childhood, teenage years. You were probably messed up mentally, and you were a juvenile. So, I mean, that being said, yeah, I mean, if that was my family member, I would probably feel much differently about it for sure. But looking at it just from a neutral person, don't know any of the people involved, I don't like when teenagers are tried as adults anyway. I think that's kind of wild. I'm sure there's instances, but
don't they try to determine if they're capable of thinking like a human
right.
first? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, treat everybody as an individual instead of a
but
masses.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what I don't know. What is the burden on that? I guess sometimes in extreme cases they'll try them as adults too. I guess they deem this extreme. I mean, putting a 40 in the back of someone's head is pretty hardcore.
Pretty extreme.
It's pretty gangster. But she's out, and thanks to Kim Kardashian was one of the people that helped at least get national eyes on this story, and I'm sure Haslam influenced him a little bit. So I mean, what I would say to her is, hopefully, you're a different person now. Hopefully, you can, try to go through your life and make it better. It's going to be tough. I mean, she's been in prison her entire life, and
it's a rough transition. You imagine, right?
I don't even know how you would. I don't even know what you would do. I mean, you don't even know how the workforce works. You don't know how housing works. You don't know how anything works. Like, you're coming out here. You were a teenager as a prostitute. You have no idea of what the real world's even like.
Do you think she'll be in a halfway house, or do you think she'll have just like friends and family help her out?
I would imagine probably friends and family. I imagine she'll probably get some money from people on the internet. I'm sure there's a GoFundMe or two set up. There's got to be. If not, there will be.
Maybe we should set one up for her.
But when people, I'm good. But it's crazy when people do go to prison and they come out. You're right. The deck is stacked heavily against them going back into jail because, number one, it's going to be hard to get a job.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. I know the world's not perfect and nothing can be right, but it just seems that our prisons would probably try to rehabilitate people more and get them ready to go into the real world instead of just locking them.
Well, a lot of the prisons have switched over to private prisons that are run for profit. So do you think anybody that runs a for-profit prison really cares about rehabilitation?
No.
Do you not think that they make more profits by putting more people in jail? I used to have a friend that worked for
Yeah.
the for-profit prison here in town. That's a big one. And he said, like, they had this huge contract in Florida and everyone was bummed out because it was going to fall through. And then the owners did an emergency flight down to Florida and they came back and they had the bid approved and everything.
I'm sure there was some greasing of palms going on.
Yeah, prisons should not be private ever.
Oh, that's interesting for you to say because you're typically a very anti-government person.
Well, there's certain things government does need to provide, though. I mean, I've
Right,
said
let's
this
list 'em
time and
out.
time again.
Let's
Public utilities.
So prison is a public utility?
No, you're asking what they should provide.
Okay,
Yes,
as long as the internet is included as a public utility.
public utility. They should provide schools, public schools. You know, I would say they need to provide a lockup for people that
Law enforcement.
Yes, law enforcement and prison. needs
What
to be
if
included.
the law enforcement became privatized?
Oh, we'd be in
for profit.
We'd be in deep shit. I mean, straight up. I wouldn't even. I would feel uncomfortable going through the streets at night if cops were private, John.
Oh yeah,
If you get pulled over, you'd probably just keep going. Like,
what
you're
if
like,
you could
nah,
just
bro.
pay them? What if you could just pay them off?
Well, you could. You better have the money. You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
well, guess who doesn't have the money?
Yeah, us three. Yeah, I hope that.
I'm coming up with that money some way. All right.
Hopefully, it never happens. I don't think it will. But hey,
But some people are actually legitimately gonna say that would be the best thing.
well, they're idiots.
There's probably a lot of people that say that in Nashville because we recently passed this, police oversight, right?
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I like that.
So you keep going down that road, and you could come to privatized prisons.
Military obviously has got to be, part of the government as well. But yeah, I mean, there's certain things that they need to provide, and I just don't. I can't get behind private prisons. I think that's terrible. Like you say, because
But that's an actual legit thing that goes on right now.
that's not right.
I would throw in medical care in that lot myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't. But
Why? What is the difference between all those things that you just said and medical care? Like literally, you just said that it would be horrible if you could pay off cops, right?
well,
But with privatized health care, you're basically saying if you have money, you're allowed to live, which is much
no,
worse
there's
than...
there's public hospitals though. There are public.
No, there's
hospitals.
not public
Yes, there are.
hospitals.
Yes, there are. There's one here in
mean-
town. What are you talking about? There's a public hospital for sure.
Yeah.
There's public dentistry.
But it doesn't
There's
it doesn't
public
really
everything.
provide the same level of health care.
Well, that's where. So you want it all to be one cost.
I mean, health care, sure.
Well, we could get into this debate if you want to, but you understand.
I just
You
find it
understand-
interesting that medical was not on your list.
How would you pay the doctors?
How do we pay them now?
Privately, because they.
Okay, so instead of overcharging taxpayers,
Yeah.
we don't, and we pay the doctors the same amount.
So single.
Problem
What are you?
solved.
What are you with? The single.
I'm for
single
whatever,
person?
man. At this point, medical care in America is like banks.
It needs to be.
It's
fixed.
too big to fail.
Okay.
That's the problem.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So, like, if we suddenly decided to restructure our healthcare industry, our economy would break because it's so corrupt and so.
Might need to.
It's got, to me, I think a gradual, slow thing would probably be best. But sometimes ripping off the Band-Aid is the best thing.
Yeah, sometimes.
I did. When I was doing Lyft, I met a couple of people that were in town for a healthcare conference, and they tried to sell me on Medicare for all. That was their big thing. Because I asked them, I was like, well, what's the solution? And they were like, oh, it's easy. It's Medicare for all. That's what they
Medicare
said.
for all.
Medicare
Who's
for all.
paying for it?
Who
You
pays?
stick 'em down
Who pays
paying
for
it.
healthcare now? We do.
We do.
So
Yeah.
that's who would pay for it. Nothing would change.
So the question is, do you trust the government to run that service? Would
More
be
so than like HCA.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. Do you trust them with prisons, roads,
No. With
public education, law enforcement,
Well, not really.
military?
Do
Like
I
all those things you want
What- do I-
the government to handle, but you don't want them to handle medical?
I don't think they could.
Based on what?
I think that.
well, a lot of people would say that the same thing about law enforcement, about education, yada, yada, yada. Anyway.
I think education, especially in Nashville, is terrible right now. It is bad. Like, it is bad times. The superintendent is in the news every day. It's not good times for public education in the city of Nashville. I can tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Last year was the first year Metro lost money because they lost an influx of students into the school system. So really, that's really wild to think about. The first time in a long time that, obviously, if you have so many students in class, so many seats are filled, you get federal funding from the government. Well, Nashville lost their federal funding. Come on, man. You don't think there's some coincidence to that? Everyone's moving outside of the county when they have kids to put their kids in Williamson County or Wilson County.
So speaking about public schools being horrible.
Oh, yeah, baby.
We have the scoop of the week.
Man, you got to go check out.
I need a drop right there. Scoop of the week. Just give me some, like, B-box, John.
John's like, nope.
Not going to happen. So I don't know if you heard this story or not from Scoop Nashville. Nashville's primary news blog. Paper. What is it?
ScoopNashville.com. It's the only news you need in your life. Go ahead.
Okay. So the school board showdown, the board member asked teachers to come to school wearing masks or to come to the meeting wearing masks. Director seeks to fill seats with his own friends. Wow, I butchered that completely.
Basically, the school board showdown, the board member wanted teachers to show up to this meeting, like a school meeting, wearing masks because he did not want their identity to be known because he thought it would be on national news.
They were uncomfortable that they should come wearing masks.
Right. And then someone point out, no, dude, you can't do that. That's against the law. You cannot show up. That's against the rules. You can't show up to a meeting wearing a mask. And then he asked all his friends to show up and fill the seats. Now,
these are two different people. This is the people that were going to come to mask were against Dr. Shaw or Shawn Joseph.
Okay.
And then Dr. Shawn Joseph is known for posting flyers trying to get people he knows to come to fill the seats so that the people who need to be there cannot.
Yeah.
So they're butting heads. The mask people against...
And then...
what would keep his friends from wearing masks and coming in?
Well, there's a lot of people alluding to the fact of, like, the history of America and KKK showing up in masks and how that could be not exactly a good look, right?
Well, the reason this guy is under the gun is because he's had like 15 to 20 sexual assault or sexual harassment cases happen in the school system, and he's not really investigating hardly any of them.
Right. I think that's a lot of the teachers and people in public education have lost faith in his guidance. And he has a history of kind of like, you know, gaining popularity through things that have nothing to do with leadership, so to speak. Right. But what I thought was funny in this story was the person who sent out the text to wear the mask has this SMS sent out, and at the very end they're like, please do not share on social media.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Well, that's sad because one of the people they trusted to show up was like, no, this is dumb. And so they narked on it. So I believe Scoop Nashville had this before anyone else. I saw it on his website before anyone else's.
For sure.
And,
always.
And today, Phil Williams of News 5 was blasting this Shawn Joseph on social media. He listed every sexual harassment case there was, and it went down like 15 at least.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Like, one of them was like his buddy or whatever. He's like, yeah, we don't need to investigate that. You're good to go there, buddy.
Could you imagine if you went into work and you were like, oh, yeah, that's my friend. Nah, he can barbecue on the roof all day. It's fine.
He didn't sexually harass anyone. He wouldn't do such a thing. It's wild that this guy even still has a job. And so several people walked out of the meeting. A lot of the parents did. They said this has become about him. It's not about the students anymore. What are you doing to fix the schools, man? And Nashville's had a terrible history of school attendance. And it's just because the schools they're not good.
What do you do to fix it? Privatize, baby. Privatize.
Well, I don't know what
there are already private schools.
Yeah, there are private schools.
I think you either I don't like private schools. I think it's a joke that you can pay to have your kids have a better education. That's like crazy to even begin to think about.
Okay.
So you either have to privatize them all or privatize none of them. I don't. How could that even work?
Well, a lot of people want to go to the voucher system, but
horrible idea.
You got
to voucher systems actually give private schools more money. It makes private schools capable of taking on tax dollars.
Right, yeah.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is, man. We're three idiots in the
basement.
Okay,
I'll tell you the solution. No private schools, and then you have the rich people fix all schools.
But they want to just
with the money.
But they'll just move like I already told you what they're doing.
But you spread the money around.
They'll move to a better district.
Yeah.
Federalize the school spending.
Okay, what does that
Normalize it across the entire country. Everyone gets the same education. Everyone gets the same budget.
Then you'll just have people putting money under the table for these schools.
Well, obviously, that
that
would be illegal.
That's kind of what happens anyway without the money. Like, okay, so I'm in Williamson County. My kids go to a really, really good school, and there's a lot of well-to-do people that go to that school. And, like, there's multiple teacher aides, there's multiple assistants, there's multiple this and that, and there's always parents showing up to all this because, you know, a lot of these moms don't work, so they're always at the school helping out. It's little things like that that really factor in and
Money
help.
doesn't solve everything, but I will say this. Right now, if you're a bad teacher, no one cares. And one of the reasons why is because teachers do not get paid very much money.
Okay.
Right? So there's not a large pool of people that are desperately trying to become teachers, right? Like if for instance, if they did a roll call for Superstar Rock and Roll that pays a lot of money, there's a lot of people that show up for that. John showed up for it once, right? So if you paid teachers more, you increase the teacher pool and people, smart, intelligent people who want it and we're good at, most importantly, teaching, that would improve the teaching already. But it has to be a grassroots movement in this country that public education is of primary importance.
Of course it is.
There's nothing more important than an education.
I would agree.
Period.
But
so that's not the case now. That's not how we look at things. I know people who say that reading is dumb. I don't like to read. Reading is stupid.
A lot of people, yeah.
A lot of people feel that way. Like, how could you say that?
Because they think it's dumb. Look, man, once again, I'm coming back to the same thing with doctors. How are you getting this money to pay these teachers this extended salary you want to have? Do you understand that everyone is at the table when these budget hearings here? Police show up. Public utilities show up. General government shows up. Schools show up.
And you just have to prioritize it more.
So who
if you fix health care, that's a huge boon to the economy.
That's not happening.
You fix it, and then you pour the rest money into education. Problem solved.
John,
how do you pay for police officers?
Legalize it.
Legalize what?
Everything.
Just legalize. Well, there you go.
There you go.
The
That's the answer.
Case closed right there.
Up that alcohol tax, up that cigarette tax, just through the roof. Get people addicted to heroin and start taxing them, you know?
So there you go. Lee solved it right there. All right.
Yeah. So you ready for some advice from John?
So now John's going to try to solve it. Maybe a smaller issue, maybe a bigger one. We'll see. It's called Dear John.
Dear John, by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone.
All right, it's time for Dear John, everybody. And John, what he does is, John is the internet's advice man. What people do, they send in questions to us, and then John's going to answer that question in the best fashion he can. And it's called Dear John, and Lee's going to read it, and we're going to get going. So we got one this week. Here we go.
This one comes in. Dear John, what age is it okay to hold
Whoa. You're not reading the top, man. Read the love at the top, bro. What are you doing?
Okay, first there's some love on it, evidently. It says, love the show, guys. I listen every week and always love hearing John give out great advice.
Well, quote unquote.
So here's my question.
Quote unquote great advice. You need
quote unquote
to do
great
that.
advice. Okay. You just want to read it? Do you want to read the rest of it at this point? Are you sure?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Okay. This one comes in. Dear John, what age is it okay to hold a child accountable for his actions? My 7-month-old spilled water from his sippy cup all over the floor today, and I wasn't sure how long to put him on the naughty step for. Is 7 months too young to discipline? I don't want to mess up this parenting thing. He's my first child. Any insights?
Yeah. Just look at. I like the way you're coming across. I mean, you're asking a good question. But the word discipline comes from the Latin, and it's the same word as disciple. So I mean, if you're going to discipline your child, you want them to become someone better. You want to make them a better person. So I mean, that's the guideline you should look at is what will make my kid better. If you feel that. And I think every kid's different. I mean, some kids you can't discipline them that early. It's just it is too soon for some. But I mean, if your kid's different, then yeah, you can do that. But if you just have to ask yourself, is this going to make my child better if I start doing this now, or do I need to wait? And so it really, like I said, it's a play-by-play for every kid. So there's not really a line in the sand that you have to draw as far as how disciplining goes. It is based on your kid and how they learn and how they take in information.
So John said there's no line in the sand, is what I heard from that.
Yeah.
I would say, you almost went a little biblical there. I'm surprised he didn't push out the spare the rod, spoil the child there.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. 7 months, That's
It is
7
pretty
months.
young.
I'm not sure that child understands.
I don't either, man.
What's going on? You should be happy that your child is getting a sippy cup at 7 months. And what is a naughty step? That's what I want to hear more about.
Like timeout, I would imagine.
It's not timeout though. It's naughty step.
Yeah, so you make them. I mean, I've heard this on like what was the nanny show? Whatever, Rescue Nanny, Super
Fran's
Nanny.
dresser,
No, the one where the lady was from England
and she falls in love
Super
with a
Nanny.
rich guy.
No, it's like a reality
Super
show.
Nanny.
She comes in and fixes
She has
these
that
people.
weird voice.
She's British. No, not Fran Drescher. We're not talking about a TV show from the 90s. Okay, I see what you're doing here. No, Super Nanny talked about the naughty step. And the naughty step is like timeout, but you sit on the step
You
and
just
you
sit
can't.
on the bottom step of the
Yeah.
stairwell.
So if you're more naughty, do you move up?
No, you
No.
just get on there longer. I've generally heard when I've heard advice about it is that you should put a kid in naughty step, timeout, whatever, 1 minute for every year of age they are. So if they're 1 year old, you're supposed to let them sit there for 1 minute and 4 minutes and blah, blah, blah. 7 months, man, they can't even like barely communicate with you, dude. What are you doing? Like, do you think they're really like, they can't even barely move? It's like you can put them on the naughty step for like 2 hours probably. What can a 7-month-old do?
Put him on the naughty step for, first off, put him in a fat suit,
Mhm.
put him on the naughty
Yeah.
step.
I mean, can the kids crawl at 7 months? Some kids can't
Some
even
of 'em
crawl at
can.
7 months, right?
This one might be drinking beer. Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know.
What
John,
was in that sippy cup?
John, 7 months. That's what he wants to know. 7 months, too old.
That's a little young.
Don't go weak. 7 months.
I'm saying unless you got a kid that's Einstein, then yeah, 7
Okay.
young is pretty young.
too old, too young to do it. So what age? Year?
I liked your advice. A minute per year.
A minute per year sounds good.
There you go.
What David is saying is you need to go watch a lot of Super Nanny. All right.
Boom. There you go.
Turn on your TV, put the kid in front of it.
You don't remember Super Nanny? I had a slight crush on Super Nanny. I thought she
I'm
was kind
sure
of
you
cute
did.
in that nanny
That
kind
is
of
not
way.
surprising.
Well, I mean, she wasn't what we call.
She had a whole
But
nother
with
definition for naughty step.
David listened to Fat Bottom Girls every time
Yeah, there
the
you
show
go. She
came
was
on,
not
so-
you would think you're thinking Mary Poppins or something, and she didn't look like that. She had glasses. She was a little bit, like John said, she likes Queen a little bit, Fat Bottom Girls, and it's cool. So anyway, good show.
Were you ever
Superman.
alone with Big Fat Fatty?
It may have been.
All right. So, John, I think your advice was treat him like a disciple and a minute.
A minute per year.
year.
So there you go. Be a good parent, dude. And thanks for the love, man. Listen, what's the dude's name? Paul? All right. Thank you.
Supposed to disclose that.
No, I just said Paul. It could be anybody. It could be a fake name. I didn't give his last name. Paul. Thank you so much, Paul, for listening and doing the advice. All right, so we got that. Is there anything we missed before we get on to the major key segment?
We have a few more stories, but it's whatever.
Nothing was that great this week.
Well, there's some like a $40 million Hobbit fantasy
Yeah,
park
that's
going
kinda
on in
silly.
Knoxville. I don't understand.
Jeff Bezos is getting divorced this week, and he was cheating on his wife, and they didn't have a prenup, and that dude's about to lose half his company, bro. It's like $137 billion, man.
All right, it's way more than that. First off,
Well, I think that's what some lawyer said she would at least get that.
but no, it's going to be way more than that. But after a certain point of money, do you think it really matters if you lose half? Of
Okay,
it?
I want to get this debate then. I heard this today, and we'll run over. Who cares? We're going to get to the meat of the matter. Somebody said today, I was reading something, and it said, no one in this country should be a billionaire. Now, I got to, Lee, what do you think of
I'm
that?
a communist, brother. You know,
Where do you stop then? Where would your
Listen,
cutoff be for?
nobody has ever made $1 billion ethically. It's literally impossible. If you understand how money represents labor force, whenever someone has more money than someone else, it's
Mhm.
basically just them extracting the labor force from others. It's kind of the
So Facebook, you don't think he made that ethically?
you think that Facebook made their money ethically? It's a known fact that they sold all our data. Come on,
okay,
brother.
Amazon. You don't
Do
think
I
that's
think
ethically?
Amazon made their money ethically?
Bill
They're
Gates.
wanting to put people in cages.
Bill Gates. Windows.
Bill Gates, who knows? Yeah.
Oh, come on. Wait
You're
a second.
backpedaling now.
So the whole thing with Internet Explorer, they got in a lot of trouble selling the OEM rights.
What is ethically to you? Now, I want to know what
'Cause here-
ethically
look,
is.
look,
You're
PCs, power computing, education is one of the great discoveries of the human race in our generation. And instead of embracing it and using it as a tool for the betterment of education, people everywhere, we monetized it. That's America. We monetize everything.
Yeah,
Okay?
but mean, Bill Gates is a case where this guy's he's trying to get rid of all his money.
Well, I mean, okay, that's good.
So
if he ends up poor when he dies, then maybe it was worth it.
he's told his kids, you get nothing.
Yeah, yes.
And he's putting
That's
a lot
good.
of money into clean water in other
Right,
countries
right.
and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So
I think Bill Gates gets it.
So you don't think there should be billionaires, John? No
Definitely
billionaires?
not. Definitely not.
I don't know. I mean, if you come up with something and you
Robber
should get paid
barons.
for it.
Pro robber baron.
Let the man speak,
No,
brother. What are you
no
doing?
way.
Yeah, that's what do you expect?
If you come up with
Anyway.
Right, apologize for that. Speaking over the man. Okay, so
if you lay your head down and you realize that going bald is because you sleep on your stomach, you should be a billionaire for that idea.
that's a John theory, by the way.
It's just a theory.
Okay, so you say if you earn it, you're good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I want to know, Lee, what would really a realistic cutoff? What do you say? $1 million? You're done, or what? Like, why would people?
So this is not my idea. It's someone that's much smarter than me came up with this, and
That
it's
could be anybody.
simple. It's
it wasn't me, but that's who he was talking about. Go
it's
ahead.
a massively leveraged graduated tax. Like
So you like what's her name? What's her name?
if you Pelosi?
Oh
I
no,
don't know.
the hot shot Democrat. What's her name? Cortez.
I don't know anything about her really. I know she likes to dance, so yeah, I like it already.
No, she's talking exactly what you're describing right now.
I'm not the. You're right. So she was not the first person to come up with this idea.
No, with Bernie's.
But
blah,
listen,
blah, blah.
it makes the most sense because people like you and John want to live in a world where their talent gives them more money than other people, right?
LeBron James,
So
sure.
instead of making it so LeBron James in this system would
Ethically,
still.
did he make his money ethically?
I don't know about his life.
Oh, okay.
You could talk about the NBA. There's a lot of people that have said a lot of things about the NBA and stuff.
He has, but go ahead.
Like, here's the thing. Like, imagine all that money going into the NBA, going into our public education system. Okay. But anyway, off topic. So in the leveraged graduated tax, these people would still be at the top of the percentile of money.
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't be grossly so.
I understand.
And I understand people, it's not going to be a popular opinion with anyone ever. Right.
No, because no one wants their money to be taken away what they deem unfairly.
Here's the thing, like what people don't understand is I'm not really a communist. Like communism is extreme.
You walk
So
like
is
a duck,
capitalism.
You talk like a duck.
I mean, I would
Sound like a
probably
duck.
admit to being a socialist to some degree,
Okay.
but I would say moderation is the key here. If you go too far into capitalism or too far into communism, you're going to run into problems.
Right.
Period.
Okay.
We're in a problem in America with capitalism. We've let it go too far.
Why are
we
in a-
have in the
why-
past.
Why are we in a problem?
People just have too much. There's like
But why is that a
the
problem?
percentage of wealth is distributed to a small percentage of the population.
Okay. You don't think this is done in other countries, though?
Do I not? That of course it is.
Okay. Just
In countries that have like one of the largest discrepancies of distributed wealth is the Middle East, where they have basically slavery.
right.
So I mean,
We're a step up from that, right?
I would hope so.
No, I'm
We
asking
might-
you.
Well, some people would say that we live in a slavery now. That slave wages, paycheck to paycheck, our wages, our raises
my
are
God.
being underpaced by inflation.
You think that's slavery?
To have to wake up and go to work for corporate America in
Yeah.
order to survive?
You don't have to do it to survive. You could be an artist and live paycheck to paycheck.
Not if the wage disparity continues. There will be no such thing as art.
So you wouldn't mind, you make more than me and John, obviously. So you wouldn't mind paying a higher tax rate than me and John?
Anyone there's already a graduated tax bracket in this
No, I
country.
mean like 70% graduated.
There's already a graduated. It's just
Not to 70%.
if I had $1 billion, I would spend it all,
every dollar.
every dime of it.
Okay. All right. Well, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
if you want it in taxes or yachts, it doesn't matter to me.
Lee solves the economic crisis
There you go.
right there. There you go.
So what do you think? Billionaires completely okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably should be paying more taxes. I don't think taxing them at a certain cutoff rate, which is what's being suggested, is necessarily a bad idea. I don't know 70%'s the answer. This is the same woman that thinks, we should only have electric cars on the road in 10 years. I mean,
if it's to save the world, that makes sense. right?
well, that's a theory, but you think people in the hood are going to be able to afford electric cars? You think we're just going to give them out to
People
them?
in the hood afford cars now.
Not electric cars.
What I don't understand. Like, if
where are they going to charge
America,
at? Where are they going to charge at? Like,
listen.
Where are these chargers
I'm
going to be?
saying there's a whole lot of people out there that
can't afford
don't go and buy a new car every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, some can't afford it.
You guys are very shallow-minded. Like,
oh, okay, thank you.
If it was if it was a threat to the world, like everyone agreed that it was a threat to the world, do you not think that America could make that happen?
That's a giant if, though.
Like, you guys, the beauty of America is our ability to overcome any problem, right? Of humans, period. So let's tap more into that. Instead of saying it can't be done, having an entire infrastructure shift to electric cars should be easy.
Well, I don't mind that over time, but you're saying in 7 to 10 years?
I think the car companies could do that. In fact, I think they've had the technology to do solar-powered cars for years. But who's going to make money off of that?
Look at Lee's face
That's
right now.
fine.
He's like, nope.
So the only reason we're burning fuel is because
it's making people money.
Solar cars would not make enough money for people.
Yeah.
If that is true, which it's not, that would be horrible.
I mean, the oil industry is one of the biggest industries on the planet.
Bro, that's one of the best burns you've ever had. just the simplicity of it. If it's true, which is not.
Anyway, all right. Let's go into the keys.
All right. It's time for some major keys.
So let me give you a major key. Where is the key?
That is not the key. I want the key.
Give us the keys. So let me give you a major key.
And you really do have the key.
Everybody stand up right now. Everybody. I got the keys now.
All right, so it's time for a major key. We're going to take a life lesson from today's episode and apply it to your life where you can have a better 2019. Guys, anything stand out over Lee? You jot anything down this week? John, you look like
Stay away from that naughty step.
It's not bad.
Stay away from
the naughty step. What do you think? Anything else?
13 is an unlucky number. What do you got?
Stay away from the 13th naughty step.
13 years. 13 steps, 13 years. I don't know. What do you got?
I got nothing, man. This is y'all's little thing you do.
I feel dumber for partaking in this podcast this week. I can't imagine how our listeners feel right now.
Well, they probably feel pretty good. Most people are probably going to agree with me and John. You'll find out. I'll get some texts this week and go, your brother is a complete moron.
That's fine.
All right, so
they're not half.
So what we staying off that naughty step?
Stay off the naughty step.
Everybody stand up right now. Everybody.
Stand up. Get off that naughty step. Stand up. Hey, get off that nice step. All right, that was episode 124. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you thought about some things. Let us know what you think about the topics we talk about, whether it's Cyntoia Brown, whether it's prison systems, whether it's Lee's plan to fix the world. This guy here, we got him on the podcast. Man, thank God. This guy sitting next to us, he fixed the entire world's problems in 5 minutes. Man, you are
a genius.
You are the genius. That's your new AKA.
The genius.
Who's that guy that's big into the economy? He's like Warren Buffett. You should write down Warren Buffett as one of your AKs as well. We got Warren Buffett on the show. So I'm
going to be Warren Buffet.
There you go. Yeah, so if you want to engage with us, please hit us up on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on all of it. And hey, you know where you can find all those links at? BlameYourBrother.net. That's the website on the right side. All the links are there. The ways to grab the podcast, subscribe to it. Please go tell your friends about it. Write us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts if you haven't done so. We really like that. There's an Amazon link on there. So if you are a billionaire and you want to go buy $1 billion worth of stuff, please click on that link. It'll take you back to Amazon, make your purchases, and we get a small percentage of sales. So it really helps us little people out. Unlike Lee's like Warren Buffett over here. Me and John, we're like begging for those scraps of Amazon money. We're like, give us $1, give us 50 cents, please, sir. May I have another? May I have another? Do you buy stuff on Amazon?
Get out of here, you bums.
Because you're not using the link.
Get off my corner.
Wait, you're not using the link, bro.
Get off my corner, bums.
You're not using the link.
Get off my corner, bum.
He's not answering. Why are you not using our Amazon link, bro?
I think we got to wrap this up.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, stream us every Thursday at 1 p.m. on Radio Vegas Rocks. Go to radiovegas.rocks, and you can listen to us and great other shows as well, great music. No, why don't you really use that Amazon link?
I think we got to wrap this up. We're
good.
Way over the target here.
No, I know, but I just want to get this out before we end the show.
Go ahead, wrap it up.
And if you want to email us and ask Lee why he's not using that Amazon link, send that email. Go to the website. There's a contact form. please, let's get an influx of emails
You
asking.
could also leave a voicemail asking.
You can. Please send us email and ask Lee, why are you not using that Amazon link? I want everyone to do that this week. Lee, that being said, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Welcome to Memory of the Week. Today is Thursday, January 10th, the 10th day of 2019. There's 355 days of the year. On January 10th, 1863, the London Underground had its beginnings as the Metropolitan, the world's first underground passenger railroad, open to the public with service between Pennington and Farrington Street. That is today's Memory of the Week. David, John, and Lee, back to you.
That's right. He's going to be mayor.